Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, my friends. I've been doing lots and lots of printouts. I shared this earlier in the group. I did the Canadian version and the US version. So, I'm just letting you guys know what I'm doing today. So I made samples of, everything's very strategically placed on this little cart here. Okay, I made samples of the Scent of the Month Jeweled Pomegranate, and I just made felt samples. So you just melt some wax. Happy Tuesday training. We are going to be talking today about organization and productivity. Pay no attention to Hero the Whining Dog. I absolutely love this topic, and it's one of my favorite things. Oddly enough, it's one of my favorite things is organization and productivity, because I find that it helps me hold myself accountable, stay on track, and really just work my business better. So, your day, your way. Everybody, we talk about this a lot, right? Everybody's day looks different than everybody else's, right? So some people may be working that full-time job or those part-time jobs and working Scentsy. Some of you may have school, family commitments, things like that, and Scentsy. Some of you may be a mom like me trying to do virtual learning and Scentsy, right? So we all have different schedules. We all have different places that we need to be and different things going on in our lives, right? So what you have to do is really sit down and decide kind of how does your day look, right? So again, if you need to adjust for that job or family time or kids practices or games or things like that, right? Then you mold that into your schedule and then you work your business around that. One of the main reasons that we do Scentsy, right, is for our family, and so that we can be available to do those things and to be there when our family needs us and to be the mom or the dad or the kid and take care of the things that we need to take care of, right? So your day really needs to drive your actions. Creating a routine is really going to help you immensely. And I say that only because I've been a consultant for a minute, right? I've been doing this since 2012, and I will tell you that over the years, the times that I didn't have a routine with my business were the times where I felt myself floundering and struggling and trying to remember, did I do this? Did I not do this? Have I done my follow-ups? All the things, right? And again, just like we talked about, your day looks different than everybody else's. You also may work a little bit differently than other people, right? For example, kind of think of, when are you most productive in your day? Are you the morning person? Like when you wake up and you get that, I'm still drinking my coffee, by the way. When you get up and you have your coffee and you're like, oh, I am on my game, right? I am totally laser focused. I am there. I'm in it. I got this, right? Or are you maybe a night owl or a late person and you're like, no. Later on in the evening, after everything's done, is kind of like the best time for me to sit down and focus, right? It could be in the middle of the day, right? It could be, if you've got younger kids especially, right? Maybe it's during nap time that you're like, I'm most productive during this time frame. And that's fine. What you need to do, again, is set up your routine around those things. So that way, your routine can really benefit you the most, right? If you're more productive in the morning or during nap time or in the evenings or after dinner, then that's when you set up your time to work, okay? There's nobody here to dictate when you need to be working your business. This is your business, right? So make it work for you. Another tip that I'll give you, because especially for myself, right? This is my full-time job. I work from home. And I will tell you that, yes, I do have chronic pain in my back, and I've got endometriosis and all the things, right? So there are days where, yes, I have maybe a bad pain day, and that may mean that I need to be sitting on the heating pad for a while. Or some days, on those really bad flare days, I just may have to do it from bed. And that's a different story, right? But when I'm talking about trying to be productive and organized, yeah, night owl, yeah, I am totally the night owl, by the way. It's quiet, the house is quiet, I can just kind of zone in, and that's kind of when I get my most creative things happening. But when we're talking about being productive, right, not only is it what time of the day is best for you, that you're going to be more productive, but also when we're in routines, right? And I don't know about you guys, but like if and again, my example is me, right? I work from home, and I find that on the mornings that maybe I'm just being lazy and I just may not get out of bed in the morning, and I'm just like, oh, I'd rather just kind of lay here, right? And then, oh, I can work from my phone. This is amazing. Or my iPad or whatever, right? And I can do all that from the bed. Now, does that mean that I'm going to be probably the most productive? Probably not, right? Because unfortunately, the way that we work with our routines, right? Whether we think that we have a routine or not, right? When you're in an environment where your body thinks it's time to rest, or your body thinks it's time to be awake, right? That's kind of where you need to be working. For me, I have my home office, right? So this is like when I'm in my office, it's like my brain automatically just goes into I'm here to work. And so some days, like today, on Tuesdays, pretty much, I will work from about 9 to about 5 o'clock, or 5 o'clock, 9 to about 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And I will be in my office. And then when I'm done working, because hello, we do this for our families, right? So when I'm done working at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that I may not answer text messages or check into the group or this and that, right, on my phone. But when I'm done working, like sitting down, being productive, getting things done, I will walk out of here and I will shut that door, because that's literally shutting it off, right? And that's just like a signal or a trigger to my brain to say, you're done for the day. You've put in your time, you're done, right? So if you find that you're working maybe from bed, you're probably going to find that you may not be as productive as you were if maybe you're set up like at the kitchen table or the dining room, or maybe it's in the living room, whatever, right? That's the time when you're feeling more productive. So kind of think about those non-work environments versus the working environments. Like, where do you normally do your work and where do you normally relax? Because again, for me, the bedroom is kind of like, that's our sanctuary, right? Like, we don't have a TV in the bedroom. I'm a big believer in not having a TV in the bedroom. Now, not to say that I won't lay there and watch some Netflix on my phone or my pad, but when I'm in the bedroom, right? Like, that's relaxation time for me. And so it's, again, a trigger in my mind to say, okay, it's time to relax in here. This is what I'm in here for, right? And so, again, kind of defining your spaces. Where is your workspace? Where is your relaxation space? Because that's also going to help, again, when you're done with work, right? We want to be able to be present and there with our family and our friends. Another thing to think about is that your routine is a living and breathing thing, right? So your living and breathing thing means that it's living. So it's in constant motion. So your routine may change from time to time. If you do have a job outside of Scentsy, right? Sometimes that job may change hours or days or what have you, right? With the kids in school or out of school or on break or what have you. Maybe your spouse and their work schedule. Again, you really have to just sit down when those changes happen and say, okay, when are going to be the best times for me to be able to get my work in, and when are the best times for me to be with my family or go out with the girls or, have a date night, whatever it is, right? Kind of really look at that routine and how you can set it up so you're best able to take care of you mentally and emotionally, right? We need those friends and family around us, but we also need that time to sit down and work. And that's how it works. Another trick to being more productive and being more organized is time blocking. Now, this is really beneficial if you do work another job outside of Scentsy. And I will tell you that for the years that I had my career and I was working, that I knew when I got home at night. Now, I usually had work from work to do at home too, but I knew that normally for me, it was like after Madison went to bed, Hero! Oh, dog. After Madison went to bed, the house was quiet, right? I'm kind of a night owl anyway. So it was better for me to time block and say, okay, from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock, I can get some good work done, right? I can sit down either at the laptop or at the computer, whatever it was, right? And sit down and just really get my things done for the day. And maybe it's just an hour. That's okay too, guys. I don't want you to think that you have to dedicate a whole huge portion of your day every day to this business. Because again, if you're working smarter and blocking your time and being very organized, then you're going to find that you don't need to spend 8 hours working your Scentsy business every single day, right? Again, this is my full-time job. That does not mean that I work my Scentsy business 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. No, there's some days where I have other things planned or other things going on or errands that I need to do or what have you, right? And I will just block my time accordingly to fit my life. So time blocking can be very beneficial. Like I said, if you've got that other job, if you've got another schedule to worry about, so it's really easy to do that, and it makes it a lot better from a productivity standpoint. And definitely making sure that you set aside time for your family and your personal time. Like I said, we have to take care of us, right? We have to be able to have that time. Again, for a lot of us, we're doing this so we can spend more time with our families or friends. And I think that I'm very guilty of this as well, where I find myself like constantly focused on my business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I haven't even when I've been with the family, right? Like maybe just sitting out in the living room, and maybe we're watching a movie or TV or what have you. And I notice I'm still on the phone during that time, right? I'm not really being present. And that's not fair to my family. That's not fair to anybody, right? And it's really not giving me any quality time with my family. So there's a time and a place. And again, if we're able to be more organized and productive with our time when we're working, then we're going to have that much more time to spend that quality time. And assign a theme for each working day. This has worked well for me in the past over the years. And I'm going to share with you my weekly schedule. It's a little bit easier for me, again, because I do work this full time now, but my weekly schedule played a big role in really defining my business and helping me grow my business, because it really did keep me on track. It kept me accountable. It kept me focused on what my goals were and what I was doing. And so I will say using a calendar to plan out your week will definitely help hold you accountable. And that calendar doesn't have to be, digital or anything, right? It can be in maybe you have a planner, maybe you just use the Google Calendar on your phone, whatever it is, right? That's what I mean by calendar. So here's my weekly schedule. And again, mine shifts a little bit from week to week, depending on life, right? It's living and breathing, this schedule. So if I need to shift things, then I shift things. Don't be afraid to shift if you need that to. Question: how many wax bars do you use for samples? Usually I will do batch work in my samples. Now right now in the scent and the warmer of the month kits, we're getting the bricks. So like I use at least 2 cubes of a brick to make like a nice batch of samples. But if I'm using bars, it's usually about 2 bars, 1 to 2. Again, it depends on what samples I'm doing and how many I'm trying to do. So felt samples are a lot easier because they take up not as much wax. If you're doing mold samples, whether it's silicone or plastic molds, those will use a little bit more wax. So you may go through more wax doing it that way. It just kind of depends on the size of the sample and how you're doing it. Yes, time blocking is definitely going to help you with those appointments. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So hopefully this is going to be really beneficial for you. So here's my weekly schedule. Like I said, mine kind of changes as it goes, but it was a lot better when I had a lot more going on with the job and everything else. So Monday is usually personal development day for me. That's when I kind of try and pour into myself. I will watch other trainings on YouTube or in the training center. I will, if I'm reading a book at the moment, right? Like I will go through my book and kind of get some of that personal development in. I will say also that when I go work out at the gym, I am always listening to a podcast now. I've stopped even listening to music, which I never thought I would ever do that. But I've actually stopped listening to music when I'm working out, and I make myself listen to a podcast. And I will just find whatever podcasts, right, on social media or network marketing or whatever, right? And I'll just listen to that. So I can kind of get in a little bit more personal development, but Monday is really like the day that I try and pour into that. Tuesday is team and group focus for me. So, like I said, that's why I switched the shout outs to every single Tuesday. I might as well, right? Because Tuesdays I was finding I was already running reports every single Tuesday. So, and again, for me with a bigger group and a bigger team, right? So that's being more effective for me. Now, if you're just starting out, if you haven't yet sponsored a team member yet, or you've only got a couple team members, then maybe this is a little bit easier for you. But I think that if you take the time to really block out time to either recognize or encourage or work with your team members, then that's only going to help you as you continue to grow your business. So the thing to remember is, yes, you may or may not have any team members right now, but you will as you continue to build your business and work your business. So just being able to have that in the back part of your mind and saying, yes, that's how I'm going to be working things. That's how I'm going to be doing it, right? That's really going to help you. Wednesdays are my follow-up or my connect days, right? So Wednesdays are the days that I usually will go through and do all my follow-ups. I will make sure that I will use my customer tracking log. I will write down all the new orders for the week or for the, previous week, right? I will go through, fill all that out. I will make sure that I've either texted or emailed those customers and thank them for their order. If they have already shipped the items or the orders that have already shipped, I will go through and I will pull it up on my workstation. I will track it. I will see if it's been delivered or not. If it has, then again, I'm doing a follow-up there as well. Hey, I hope that you're loving the bars that you got, or the villains collection that you got, and which one is your favorite, right? Something like that is in my follow-up. Or just those connections, right? So building those relationships really comes into play on Wednesdays. So for me, that really looks like, making sure that my email is getting cleaned up. There's a lot of messages that I get, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, that I kind of will flag for later. Same thing in my email. There are sometimes emails where I'm like, I need to follow up this later when I'm sitting down and working, right? So Wednesday is really that day that I really make sure that my email is all taken care of. Anything that I've flagged, I will go through and make sure I responded. Anybody that I've talked to who is interested in joining or was looking for a product or whatever, right? I'm really going to focus on those connections. Thursday is really when I sit down and I focus, again, for me and my business. This is going to look different for everybody, right? But for me and my business, content is a huge piece of my business. So for me, that looks like videos, that looks like creating Instagram content. So that's going to be IGTV or Reels. That's going to be maybe making a fun little short video clip, or maybe I'll have some fun on TikTok that week. But I will really sit down and focus on my content. And on those days too are the days where I will go around and I'll take, try and take as good of pictures as I can of the warmers in my house, or just take some stock photos. So I have them here. So I have them for later, right? So maybe pictures of bars or a scent that I really love or what have you, right? Or an order that I've bagged up that I'm getting ready to deliver, right? I may take those pictures, and those are what I use as my stock pictures, right? So when I need to put a post out, or I really want to like sit down and plan content, I will go to those photos and those videos. Friday is leadership focus day for me. So in my world, it really is kind of like the end of the week, so to speak. And so a lot of that time is for me spent on looking at the leaders in my group, right? So where's everybody at? What do I need to focus on? And a lot of that too, maybe sitting down and thinking about ways that I can do training, that I can do those success sessions, so I can really just pour into my team. Saturday is social media day. And again, it's living and breathing, right? So some Saturdays, like this past Saturday, it was Halloween, right? So like I did not work all Saturday. We had stuff going on and we're out of the house. So I didn't get to do a lot of that social media that I normally would do. Hero, you are not being a good boy right now. So on that social media day is when I will sit and spend some time on Pinterest. So I'll be uploading my pins to Pinterest. I will be scheduling posts on my Facebook business page and in my VIP group. I will get those set up and ready to go. Again, kind of looking back on maybe some of those stock photos that I took earlier on in the week, right? So that's just me dividing that time up into, I'm going to get this done on this day. So that way on this day, I don't have to do all that work, right? And then on Sunday, for me, it's really more of a family day. If we're not doing anything around the house and I'm kind of feeling up for it or whatever, then yeah, I may get some work in. I may, look through some emails, or I may work on mail outs or whatever it is going on. But I really like to take at least that one day a week to really just say, hey, this is my family day. And unless I want to work or there's something that needs to be done, then I'm probably really just going to focus on that time with my family. But towards the evening and into the day, right, we have the Scented Bliss happy hour that happens every Sunday evening. But I also will use Sunday evening to really plan out my week ahead. So again, that's when I'm kind of looking at this schedule and going, okay, Monday is personal development day. What am I going to do on Monday? Tuesday is team and group focus. What am I going to do then? Wednesday is follow-up day. Who did I need to follow up with, right? If I need to make those lists out, that's what I do on Sunday, is to plan that week out. So again, I've got everything taken care of. I've got everything covered. Now, this weekly schedule, like I said, this is just an idea for you. If you want to use it and stick to this, great. If you need to mix it up, if your days off are different, if your family day is different, whatever, you need to work it into your schedule. But maybe just sit down, take about 5 to 10 minutes and think about how you can address all of your business things for the days that you're going to be working your business. And for some of you, it may be, hey, I don't work my business Monday through Friday or whatever. I only work my business on Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, right? That's fine too. But you need to sit down and just plan out. Okay, so on Saturday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, right? So I need to plan out, give each day a theme, right? And if you're just working 3 days a week and maybe it's just an hour each day, then if you can sit there and if you can be very intentional with what you're doing during that 1 hour, then you can get a lot done. So it's not necessarily about the time that you're doing. It's more about the quality of time that you're putting into your business. Does that make sense? Quality over quantity. I could sit here in my office, like I said, every single day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. But if I'm not really being productive, then I'm not getting anything done. Let's be real. So that kind of leads me into my next, be intentional. So another thing to really think about is that the way, the way that we work best as humans is our brain can really focus in for about a 60-minute to about a 90-minute window. So we're looking at maybe about an hour to an hour and a half is really what our minds are kind of designed to do, to really put in that focus. Anything really after about an hour and a half, you need to be up and getting a break. You need to go get some lunch. You need to maybe go stand outside, go for a walk around the block, walk the dog, whatever you need to do. Get up, freshen yourself up, and then come back, right? Even if you've got a really busy day and maybe you've got time that you need to get stuff done, that's fine. But just realize you're going to experience burnout if you don't take those breaks. You're not going to be as productive. You're not going to be as creative. You're not going to be able to sit down and write captions for your posts or think about things that you want to do in your business. All of that stuff really comes with a fresh mindset. So we have to freshen that up. Setting boundaries for work time and family time. Again, I'll reinforce that because it's a big thing. And for me, one of the things that I do when I'm really like, this is family time. One of the things I will do, because we're all pretty conditioned at this day and age, right? Whenever this device dings or makes a sound or vibrates, what do we normally do? The first thing we pick it up and look at it, right? So if we're wired that way to always be looking at that, and especially like today, right? I'm spending a good portion of my day today in my office. I do have to go vote today, so that'll probably take a couple hours. But I'm going to spend a portion of my day in my office, right? So this morning, what I did, everything that I need to work my business is literally accessible on my computer, right? I can get to messages, I can get to emails, I can get to Facebook, I can get to my workstation, I can get to everything I need to do. There is no need that I need to be glued to my phone. So when I'm really trying to get that work done, I will actually go put my phone in the other room. Yeah, my phone will just go and sit in the living room and have a break. Because otherwise, if you're like me, I will get distracted. I get distracted very easily. Squirrel. I get distracted. So if a ding happens or a reminder pops up and it vibrates my phone or whatever, I will literally stop whatever it is that I'm working on, whether that's being creative and getting, these mail outs done or whatever. And it may just be a text, or it may be an email, or it may just be a notification from UPS. I get those too, right? But it's something that what happens when that dings? It breaks our concentration. And then what do you end up doing? At least if you're anything like me, right? It'll ding for whatever reason and I'll look at it. And then maybe it dings because I got a message on Instagram. And I end up going to that message, reading that message, and maybe responding to it. And then what happens is I end up scrolling through Instagram for a minute or two, or sometimes like 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I'm in here to get work done, right? Like, that's how it works for me. So in order to, because I know and I recognize that's how I do things, right? That's why, like I said, I will go put this in the other room. I don't need it right now. That text can wait for an hour or whatever it is until I'm done. And then I can respond. Because for one, I'm going to be more focused on that. Because let's break it down even further. Our brains cannot... For many, many years, I prided myself on the fact that I was an amazing multitasker individual. I even wrote it on my CV for a long time, right? Multitasking. I'm so great at multitasking. Let me tell you, your mind cannot focus and be productive on like 8 different things if you're doing them all at once. It just can't. It's science. You can't give 100% of your attention to 3 different things. So if I'm trying to answer texts and do mail outs, and put in an order for a customer, right? I can't, not only can I not physically do all those things at one time, but I can't fully give that customer that maybe I'm emailing back and forth, or that person who is interested in joining my team and has some questions, I can't give 100% to that if I'm also doing these other things at the same time. So you have to be able to shift and shift and shift. So if for you, if that means putting your phone in a different room to work, then do that. If it means going in and closing the bedroom door because the kids are going crazy and you're like, I just need an hour with my business. Go into the bedroom, shut the door, use your phone, do what you need to do. Okay? No judgment here. But we have to just work with what we're given. Being intentional with your time can also look like, and this is where I kind of thrive in my business, is batching that work. Like I said earlier with samples, right? I will batch samples. That's when I batch sample make. So last week I sat down and I went through and I warmed those 2 brick cubes, right? Made all my felt samples for jeweled pomegranate. This little box here, this is what I kind of hold my other samples. So like I've got Snow Kiss cranberry samples ready to go, right? Because I batched all these samples. I made up samples all at the same time. Now in Zen, Just for You, Bright Cider Life. I've got my dish soap samples. I've got my room spray samples. I've got my Scentsy fresh samples over there, right? The Scentsy soap samples are all ready and done. And that way, when I am, like today, sitting down and doing mail outs, all I have to do is grab and go, grab and go, grab and go. So batch your work, especially if it's samples, if it's mail outs, right? So I sat here and I printed out a whole bunch of the wax cash, right? And then cut it all up so it would be, again, ready to go. Ready to grab, ready to put it in. Printing your stickers and your marketing material. Okay, so the Scentsy Club mail outs, right? What else I have in here? Other Scentsy Club. Where are my thank yous, wherever they are. I've got a little thing for thank yous for the season, right? Over there. My thank yous, right? I just did today the printout of all the bricks, right? So I used that printout. I did that. I printed out some more of my join flyers because I needed more of those. So all of that I do all at one time. That way I'm able to grab and go when it's time to sit down and work. What are felt samples? So felt samples are pieces of felt. The Scentsy Success Store does sell little shapes like this. This is like the holiday one, so it's supposed to be shaped like a snowflake. I guess it does look like a snowflake, but anyway. Other ones that they have are just like the bar shape, and it's a felt piece of stiff felt. And then what you do is, I actually don't use my warmer when I do felt samples, or I don't use like my melting pot to do my samples. I actually just use a warmer here in my office. I throw in my wax, let it warm, and then all I do is I take the felt, drop it in. I use tweezers, pull it out, let it dry on some wax paper, and then pop it in a bag. And like I said, the felt samples, as I was talking about earlier, the felt samples are safe to be able to go into the warmer. So those customers, when they're getting them, can just place that felt in the warmer, and all it's going to do is soak up or pull out all of the wax that's in that felt and then let off the scent. And then they can just toss out the felt when they're done, right? When it stops smelling. And one of the reasons that I like the felt the most is because it is very flat for mailing, right? So again, I can stick that sample in here, right? And I'm not like putting a huge chunk of wax in that envelope, so it's going to mail a lot easier and a lot cheaper. Oh, you'd love to get some happy mail. I might have to send you some happy mail. A melting pot, does it burn my wax? No. In fact, I use, it is a Wilton chocolate melter or something. I don't know. You can get it at all the craft stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. You can go to Amazon. And mine is the silicone thing, and all it does is it literally just melts. It's technically it's made for chocolate, but obviously please do not use food and wax in the same container. If you're going to melt chocolate, then get one that's specifically for chocolate. If you're going to melt wax, make it specifically for wax. But it does not. It does not burn the wax. And honestly, what I'm doing when I'm putting it in my melting pot is I'm just putting it in there and I'm just letting it melt. So as soon as it's melted is when I will actually either, if I'm doing it, which I very rarely do it for the felt samples, but then I would just throw the felt in there, let it all soak up, pull it out as it goes, right? But if I'm making like molds, then I'll take it out and instantly just pour it out into the molds and let them set. It does not burn though, no. One of the great things about our wax is that it is a paraffin grade, food grade wax. So it doesn't get hot enough to be able to get to that burning point, if that makes sense. So making time to batch out your stickers, any marketing materials, things like that. Another great thing to batch is your follow-ups. Oh my gosh. If you can batch work your follow-ups, like I said, I usually will save mine until Wednesdays, and then I will go through and I will just get them all done in the time that I have to work on Wednesdays. And also batching, especially if you're a leader, right? And if you're doing what I'm calling my success sessions or your coaching calls or your one-on-ones or whatevers, batch those, right? So maybe that's one day a week that you actually do those, or a couple of times a month, whatever it looks like in your business. But batch that time out. So things that you can batch it. And then that way, like I said, all throughout the month, I have everything ready to go. So if I need to do a quick mail out or if I need to put things together, I can just do that. I can grab it, I can put it together, and I'm not sitting here spending a whole ton of time putting everything together. It has really helped my business in leaps and bounds. Organization, everything in its place. Oh my gosh, organization brings me so much joy. But if it doesn't bring you joy, that's okay. You just have to work a little bit more to be more intentional, to be a little bit more organized. And you don't have to be as organized as everybody else, right? Again, it's what works for you. And some people, and especially when it comes to my husband, I have no idea how he organizes everything that he does because it doesn't make any sense to me. But for him, it works, right? So if what you're doing works for you, then do that. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Just please remember that. So again, finding a workspace is really going to help you get that organization down. And for many, many years, we didn't have an extra bedroom in the house, right, that I could dedicate to my office. And especially when I had first joined and in those probably first 4 or 5 years, right? Like yes, I had my business. I was working it as a business, but I didn't have a huge team. I didn't have, I just really didn't have all the things that I do now, right? Like over time you accumulate things. It's just the way the world works. But I will tell you that you don't necessarily have to have a home office. You don't have to have all of that. For many, many, many years, it was working out of rolling carts. In fact, making sure I'm not going to run over Hero if I'm on the chair. I thought it was behind me. I don't know if you can see that right there that my printer actually sits on. It's not meant to be a printer stand. But it's just like a little 3-drawer rolling cart, right? That you can get at Walmart or Target or whatever. And in fact, you can still see the labels on it. The top one says bars. And when I was starting out, that was the only thing that I had to organize my business. Because, again, we didn't have an office space. I would sit at the kitchen table when I wanted to sit down and work. But everything for my business lived in that rolling cart. So if I was sitting at the dining room table or if I was sitting in the living room, right, the table was cluttered or whatever, right? I wasn't sitting in there. And then all I would do is I would literally move that cart to wherever it was that I was working. No shame in my game. Okay. That is what I worked out of when I first started. And I've kept it ever since. Not only because it holds a lot of stuff, but also just as my reminder of that's where I started. Was in that 3-drawer rolling cart. It's not even like the wide drawers, right? It's a skinnier drawer, for goodness sake. But any bars that I had when I made up samples, those would go in there. I didn't have a printer, so I didn't have as much printed as I do now. Obviously, you know, as you guys will grow your businesses, or if you print stuff at home, right? I tend to print a lot more now that I have a printer. But like any envelopes for mailing out samples or bags to put, you know, orders together, and all of that lived there. Now, like I said, over time, obviously I've grown, and I probably have way more stuff than I actually ever will need, but I still try and find ways to keep things organized. So at Michael's, the craft store, right? So they have these really great, I can pick it up. These really great, oh, that's heavier than I assumed it would be. Little rolling carts that I just dropped in mail out. Luckily, there's nothing breakable, but I still use that. I've got a couple IKEA carts over here, right? So I kind of create stations. Again, this one that sits next to my desk, this is really like my sample station. So as you can see, like I've got bags already made up that, like, this is a customer thank you or a Scentsy Club thank you, right? So all I have to do is write a note, put it in there, seal it up, print off the postage. Other mail outs ready to go, already ready to go, that they just need addresses on them. My flyers are in here. My Rub and Sniff stickers are in here. I've got little cards and stuff like that, right? My scale is down there. Everything here is there for me to make samples on. And so when I'm sitting down and making samples, I have everything that I need. So organize your space, whatever that looks like, okay? It's going to look very different to everybody and where you are in your business. When you get a large party order in, where do you fit into your schedule to package? Oh, excellent. So that would be on Wednesdays. Wednesday has always either been my delivery day, or now I have a lot of people who, if they are local to me, they actually will just come and pick up their order off my porch right now because COVID. Or I deliver it to them and leave it on their porch. So usually Wednesday is the day that I will sit down to do those if I have like more than one. Other times it's like when the order comes in, normally I'm home and I'll be like, okay, let me just go ahead and box this up or package it up now before I forget later, right? Because yeah, like I did this one over the weekend. It's ready to go. In fact, I just texted her a little bit ago to see when was a good time for me to drop it off. So it's literally there and ready and waiting to go. So it kind of just depends on that. How many bars do I keep on hand of each scent? Honestly, I really don't, I don't keep stock on hand by any means, but, I am a Scentsy fan. So I do have wax in my, what I call my super secret Scentsy stash, right? So when I want to change up my wax, I keep that on hand. But honestly, I don't keep stock for selling. Now that's not to say that I don't, like, if I've hosted a party and I didn't have anybody to use the host rewards, you know, I will get a 6-pack of wax, right? Use the host rewards for that. And it either becomes my personal Scentsy or it becomes a Scentsy that I end up giving away. Like this has Cozy Spice in it right now, right? So it just kind of depends. Like I said, I don't really keep stock. It just happens to be that's what I have on hand. So I'm not real particular now right now during this time of year because it's the holidays and I'm working on gift boxes, right? So I'm putting together gift boxes, and one of those gift boxes, the price point is 20 or 25, I can't remember now. And so I have some bars in there. So like I did order towards the end of October, end of October, I ordered a couple 6-packs of more of the holiday scents. So I would have those to be able to put into gift boxes to then give to my customers. So if you're doing things like that, then you may want to stock up on certain scents. Otherwise, you do not have to keep inventory on hand. So please don't think that you have to, or you need to, or whatever to be successful. So unless you're going to do an event or do gift boxes or mail outs or things like that, then you really don't have to keep anything on hand that you don't want to or that you won't use. So I don't really have a set number there. Samples that get your business going. So totally. So really the best advice I can say for getting started when it comes to samples, use what you have. It does not have to be, a certain scent to send out a sample. It can be the bars that you got in your starter kit. It can be, if you order a 3-pack of bars, right? Just grab a 3-pack of bars. Another thing that I do is I do subscribe. For years, I subscribed to just Scent of the Month because that's what was in my budget. As I've grown my business, I now do Warmer of the Month every single month, not only because those Scent and Warmer of the Month kits, they do count towards your PRV for the month, so that's good. So not only are you getting PRV and earning commission on those kits, but you can also use the bars and the scents. And right now we've got you get 1 brick and you get 3 bars. So I'm using those for samples. But honestly, the whole point is just getting the scent into people's hands. So whether or not that's felt, and you don't have to get it to the Scentsy Success store again, you can go to your local craft store, just get sheets of like stiff felt. I did that for years. I've got a video. I will bump that up in the group of how to make felt samples. They're really easy and less expensive to mail, and they're really quick and easy to make. You really don't need to overthink it either. And then depending on the starter kit that you get, you may or may not have any body samples or anything like that. But if you do have some extra money, you can go into the Scentsy Success store and you can get the washer whiff, sorry, total brain fart. Washer whiff samples, like that's what these are in the back of this gift or bag here, of the laundry liquid, the scent soak, things like that. Body lotion, they do have all of that stuff already, so you can add maybe one of those to your next order if you can, or again, whatever you happen to have. Another fun thing that I shared not too long ago is in my mailings right now, I went on Amazon and for like $5 or $6, I got like this big bag of fabric leaves, right? It can be anything, let's be real. But what I did is I have Scentsy Fresh, right? So in this bag, I broke up all the leaves in here and then I sprayed them with lavender cotton Scentsy Fresh because that's what I had on hand. And then I keep them in this bag, and this whole bag smells like lavender cotton Scentsy Fresh. And so I can just throw a couple of those leaves. You'll see I've got it in this bag here. I throw a couple of those leaves in there, and what that's doing is just giving a little bit more of a scent, right? Anything that you can really use to add scent is going to be really great for samples. So I'll tag or bump up some of those videos in here about those samples and getting started with those. Another thing too with really being organized is maybe set yourself up for success by creating yourself like a checklist. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be written on paper, right? But things that you want to get done every single month, like your wish list, things that I want to do and try, or things that I want to learn more about. Maybe it's samples, right? So how am I going to do that? Well, on Mondays, if Monday is your personal development day, maybe that means you're going to look and watch some YouTube videos and do some searches for that, or go into the Facebook groups. Use the search bar in the Facebook groups and you can search. Maybe it's Facebook party, maybe it's felt samples, maybe it's dish soap samples, whatever it is that you're looking or curious that you want to do or you want to try. And then make yourself a list, kind of like a wish list, so to speak, right? And then that way on the days when you're like, oh, I've got like an hour or two to do some Scentsy stuff, hey, refer to your wish list and go, oh yeah, I was going to try and figure out how to do felt samples. So that's what I'm going to look up today. I'm going to do a YouTube search. I'm going to look for felt samples. Or I'm going to search in the Facebook groups. Or I'm going to go to the workstation and go to the training center. Have a hub or a workstation hub. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about that with the carts or your workspace or what have you. But I will say that for many, many years, it was my planner. So everywhere I went, my planner went with me. Now that I've gone digital, everything is on my iPad. Like my iPad goes everywhere with me and it has everything in it for my business. But hello, our phones do just as much as any notebook ever could, right? We've got, regardless of what phone you have, right? There's apps for everything. So use those things to your advantage. Where did I get my business cards? I actually got my business cards from, through the workstation on the Scentsy Pro shop. So mine are just the Scentsy cards, and then you can upload a picture and then your information on there. So that's where I actually get mine, is through the Scentsy Success Pro shop on our workstation. The last thing I'll talk about with organization is to get physically organized. Again, like maybe it looks like a cart, maybe it looks like your planner, maybe it's a digital planner, a paper planner, your Google Calendar app on your phone, whatever it is, get yourself organized. And another really easy way to do that too is maybe just get yourself like a dry erase board. I used a dry erase board for a long time to just kind of plot out my week, right? I didn't, I had like my planner, but I wanted like at a glance. So if that works better for you, if you're more of a visual type of person like that, get yourself a little dry erase board or even a wall calendar that you can put up there and write it in there. But if you can physically see something, then that is going to allow you to be more apt to do those things, right? To keep yourself accountable, to know what you're doing each day. Oh yeah, tomorrow I was going to do follow-ups. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to do follow-ups tomorrow, right? So you can like set your schedule and build a habit to plan your week ahead. That's really where you're going to get the most intentional productivity done, is really just sitting down and planning what are you going to do next week or the rest of this week, right? So again, it doesn't have to be you work every single day. Even if you only work 2 days a week, take those 2 days a week or 3 hours a week, again, whatever it looks like. And just make sure that that time that you're putting into your business is intentionally spent. And it's really helping you to get into those habits, because we build habits, and when we build habits, then we're able to really expand ourselves and our business. So it really comes down to the sky is the limit at that point. Being able to scale your business, being able to have everything ready to go, being able to hold yourself accountable. Self-accountability is a big deal, right? Even just going to the gym, right? Like I hold myself accountable for going to the gym. We do that in all aspects of our life. So we really have to kind of take that and bring it back into our business. So if that kind of helps you with how organization and productivity can benefit you in your business, then I think that this is a really great way to start with a lot of this stuff. So, all right. I appreciate you guys being on today. I hope, being able to answer those questions was very helpful. I will bump up some videos here in the group for you about felt samples, about kind of how to do those things, get those things started, because I've got some great videos out there with that really walk you through and show you the whole thing. And will be going. We've got tomorrow, mark your calendar, because we do have the Scented Bliss monthly meeting tomorrow at 7:30, I believe it is. At 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be a great time. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to go over everything that's going on. It will be recorded. So those of you who cannot join live, that is okay. It will be recorded, but just make sure that you have a plan, write it down to go back and watch that video, because I mean, obviously it hasn't happened yet, but when it does, it's going to have a lot of information in there, and it may even be something that you need to watch like once or twice, just to get everything out of it. Get your notepad ready and get ready to sit down and just kind of jot down notes, and that will hopefully help you get everything just kind of organized. And then again, you can fill it into your planner or your wall calendar or the Google Calendar on your phone or whatever it is that you're using, and really be productive and be organized in your business. It's really going to help you being successful. So I love you all. It's a great start to November. We've got huge things happening. So even if you've been with Scentsy for a while, just get ready, because it's going to get crazy and it's going to be so much fun. So I'm so glad that you guys are here with us.